play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bob says Nico gonna find Rainer.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. Tonight, Division A, gonna be seeing a game between Goodbye Forever and ReGen Retro. And I thought that was an interesting moment as I welcomed everybody as Alice decided to choose that very moment to dive into the room and capture the ball that she was not even remotely stalking. I know, right? Isn't that crazy of you? Right at that moment. All right, just to give you a quick update here. So our teams, I don't know, completely Mia. I sent a message over to Zammy over at ReGen Retro, so hopefully we'll hear something back from that side here soon. Also going to check in with the captain of Goodbye Forever. See what we got going over here, because we got stuff to do today. Looks like non-champion is the captain over there, so I'm going to send a message to non-champion. Maybe, if it lets me do it. Okay. Let's check in with them in the NGS channel then, since that seems to be the best place to go. But you know what? For right now, why don't we go ahead and take a look at our standings after first week of NGS here. All right, so ReGen Retro has 3 points in a 2-0 victory that they had here. And it looks like Goodbye Forever played against Tickle Me Tassadar, had a 2-1 victory in their week 1. Who did Retro play? They played against Terry. Oh, that's right. Terry's crew. I watched that match. I cast that match. I should know some of these things. So that's the status. That's where we are right now. So let's see. Looks like we do have a group set up for Retro. And I don't see non-champion in the NGS channel in Discord, so if you're a captain out there, probably a good idea to be in that NGS channel so we can communicate easily. The 8 p.m. game. See if there's any update at all. Okay, so all right, so it sounds like we're working on a sub here, so welcome everybody again tonight. So we do have 2 matches tonight. Hopefully we'll get this show on the road here shortly between Goodbye Forever and ReGen Retro, because coming up after this we've got Wood League versus Die for Vision, a C East matchup that you're not going to want to miss, and we've got a special surprise guest coming in for that match. Moist Weenus showing up with the 69 bits. Much appreciated, my friend. Glad you could join us. I am joined by another friend here currently who just does not want to sit off to the sidelines. She has to be up in the business. Let's see. We got some bans. You know what? Let's go ahead and update these bans. And then we can take a look and see what our map setup looks like tonight here. So, Sky Temple. Tomb and Towers. And it looks like Infernal Shrines. Okay, so let's let's get a look at our maps here. Now, I do not know who's picking the first map. I'm sure we'll figure that out soon enough here. However, the map bans, we got Battlefield of Eternity and Sky Temple. Gonna be the bands from Goodbye Forever. Also, for ReGen Retro here, they're gonna be banning out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom. This time zone was not filed properly. No, I think they're ready. They're ready, Murda. And no, that's fine, Ektar. You know, I mean, obviously, when we're dealing with subs, we want to make sure that we're doing a thorough evaluation. So appreciate you doing that. Quantum Hots, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us here. Let's go back to our initial here, and hopefully we'll get an invite to the game soon. Let's see, Zamy's not in the game yet. Aha! Of course, we're waiting on an additional player. As you do. Let's go ahead and just set up the lobby then while we're waiting, because I don't want to wait all night for this. Make observers, standard tournament. We'll figure out who's doing that. Oh, I almost need to get this camera just a little bit lower so that when Alpha comes up here, she can really say hi. But there you go. Say hi, Alpha. Oh, look at that. Oh, we almost got your face right on. Can you look over here? No, you really don't want to. Okay. Fair enough. How's everybody doing tonight? It's a Thursday night, so we're most of the way through the week. There's just a single standard work day left. I have one player in here. Let's just do this. The Tibians is a team. I played that game. Yes, it is in fact a team. I think that is over there. That's definitely there. So, Captain. Shatters Retro. Okay. Swap team. Team 1 is first pick. All right, so this is there we go. This is the map pick of ReGen Retro. Okay. All right, we have 10 people here. Now I just got to make sure they're all on the right sides here. We appreciate your time. Put into casting. It makes us have a lot of fun. Hey, you know what? I appreciate you being here. It's a good time for me. I enjoy doing this. Splash is retro, so who am I switching? I'm guessing Mustache Mill. That sounds like a... There we go. So Slash, Shatter, Sunpound. R... Team's correct. And who wants Captain? Hat. Let's see. Set Captain to there. Set Captain to there. That all looks good. So I'm ready to go. Just waiting on these teams. Really? Do you want to say something to people at home? No? Not interested? Alright, so we have everybody here. And I'm gonna set myself as a referee so that I can pause and unpause. Murda, thanks for mentioning such. I certainly understand, both as a player and as a caster, how frustrating sometimes it can be. Doesn't sound right. What's going on there? Doopy doopy doo. Okay, so we got a ready from one team. We got a ready from the other team. And here we go. All right, coming to Infernal Shrines, going to be the first map of the night, the most popular map in all of the Nexus Gaming series, and just one of many opportunities to showcase some good wave clear, some good rotations, some objectives, lots of different stuff you can see here at the Infernal Shrines. In fact, it's probably one of the maps, I think, that has the most flexibility on what you can do, right? I mean, there are a lot of camps. There's a lot of opportunity for heroes like Sylvanas. If you want to just push hard, you can double soak lanes when there are objectives going. And so it's not something like a super objective heavy focused map where everything comes from the objective. You certainly get a lot of value out of it, but it's not like the Battlefield of Eternity, the other Diablo map. But we're gonna see Alarak and Johanna Band out here, followed by the Samuro. And some of the more popular heroes here: Sonya, the Gul'dan, the Jaina, the Junkrat, the Kael'thas even. Any of these do a lot of value. I wouldn't even be surprised to see something like a Zagara. But it's going to be Mal'Ganis, going to be the ban coming out from ReGen Retro. So a bit of a tank choke coming out so far early in the setup here. We'll see what our first selection is going to be. Tanks have been a high priority lately. It's going to be Greymane though. Let's see, goodbye. And ReGen Retro. Okay. Just setting up the poll here for later when we get these selections. So there's the early tank pick here from Zamibar. Is going to be playing that ETC along with Soundpound, the off-roster sub for the evening here, playing the Thrall. Now, we don't know yet whether that'll be an off-lane Thrall or whether that'll be a four-man Thrall. So we'll have to see where they go with this. Splash, and who's... Okay. It's going to be... There's that Sonya that I mentioned earlier. Anna's going to be helpful for them as well. She's got the opportunity to put the ETC to sleep. And she has pretty decent range on those heals. Obviously, the farther away the player is, sometimes the harder it can be to hit them. With their mobility. So I wouldn't be surprised to see... Rip. Okay. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Jaina coming out of this nano target. Li Ming's also possible to help with the ETC mosh possibility. We're gonna ban out the Hanzo. Playing the mind games over here is ReGen Retro, saying, you know what, we don't even want to ban anything. So Anduin's gonna come out. Anduin is a good pairing with the ETC, being able to throw that light bomb on the ETC, but also pull him back when he gets a little bit too far. It's gonna be Kael'thas as well. So a couple of heroes that I mentioned early on there coming out here with the Sonya and the Kael'thas. All right. Sorry, somebody decided they had to sit in the chair behind me. Sitting next to me, not good enough for this little dog. Last two picks here coming out from the side of Goodbye Forever. There's that Li Ming, and it's going to be Uther coming in as the main tank for Goodbye Forever, and I like it. You got some extra lockdown, a lot of ways that you can stun or interrupt the ETC mosh. I like this a lot. All right, let's see. So that's correct. That's correct. And it's going to be Oriole, the final pickup. So a double support here coming out from ReGen Retro. And that is an interesting draft. So Oriole's very likely going to be going into that Searing Light at level 1, looking for the additional damage. Certainly, you know, I don't think Anduin gets a lot of ways to provide additional damage, but Oriole on a map like this with Searing Light does generate a lot of her own hope, just throwing those heals out. Looking at the Thrall, looking at the ETC, while also dealing with the Sonya, Uther, potentially that Grey Mane as well. All right, let's get into this game. Only a little bit behind, are we? Let's make sure that everybody's on the same heroes that they were showing. I think so. Okay, so far so good. Alrighty guys, so you've seen the drafts. The game is getting started now. Who do you think's gonna win? Check out chat right now. Vote in that poll for the team that you think's gonna pull out this game. Should be able to see it at the top of your chat window there. So on the left, we've got Goodbye Forever. Newbie going to be playing the Sonya, non-champion on the Li Ming. Mustache Mill on the Grey Mane. What an appropriate skin for that too. A Spooky Ghost playing the Uther. And Thundercat's going to be playing that Ana. Over here on the right, we've got ReGen Retro. Soundpound going to be playing the Thrall, Zami Bars on the ETC, Splash on the Oriole, Deltron on the Anduin, and Shatter going to be playing that Kael'thas. A whole lot of S's coming out from the ReGen Retro crew tonight. Let's see, so we do have the Swift Sweep, so getting that faster sweep. It's actually not going to be the Searing Light coming out from Oriole, so really putting a lot of pressure onto that Thrall and Kael'thas to spread the living bombs and get those roots and lock down targets with the ETC. Prog Rock and Mana Addict going to be the Globe talents here, along with Echo of Elements. And over here for the left, we've got Power Hungry from Li Ming, looking for those globes as well. And Uther going into that Hammer of the Lightbringer, so he's going to have that cooldown reduction as well as the mana return. And here comes the rotation in onto the Uther, the knockback from Detainment Strike. ETC does get the power slide, and there's the first blood of the game. ReGen Retro drawing the first blood and now making their way in onto the aggressive siege camp here. Let's see how that looks, by the way. Never seen that. Oh, okay, so it's just a drop down. Interesting, okay. Up in the top lane, it is going to be Thrall versus Sonya. But bot in the bot lane here, we've got a little bit of a mindful watch coming in as Oriole getting caught by the Uther and Greymane here. A lot of damage coming out, but Anduin says, I've got you, and pulls Ariel right over here. Now, that being said, it's going to be ETC falling. A lot of damage coming out onto that ETC. And ReGen Retro's got to be really careful about things like that, because when you've got a Li Ming, especially one that's able to hide behind a wall, those missiles and arcane orbs going to come up and obliterate you before you've got any kind of chance to move out of it. You don't even know they're coming. Up here in the top lane, the Shaman camp was picked up. And just about to announce this Frozen Punisher in the bot lane. So both of these teams are going to be looking for that. They don't want to... Frozen Punisher is probably the strongest in the early game. And probably the most valuable for the retro comp to have, especially because they need that additional siege value. Whereas Goodbye Forever brought their siege. They've got the Greymane, they've got the Sonya, they've got plenty of damage. So even if they lose a Punisher, if they can win a fight out of it, they can very easily push in on structures. And there we go. Shaman Clamp cleared up in the top. So Goodbye Forever going to get right onto this camp and get things going here. Already 12 Thrall coming now into the party, but ETC already sitting at about half here. Has to back out. Kind of reset, catch up in that health. And a commanding lead so far here for Goodbye Forever, but Uther might be saying goodbye for at least the next 20 seconds. As Retro rotating down, getting that stun and locking him down. Here's another stun combo between the ETC and Ariel onto the Greymane. 35 to 15 though, so they're going to need to really be mindful of the positioning once again of this Li Ming. Li Ming can just throw those orbs in, these missiles. Mustache Mill below here, trying to find some potential here, but without their front line going in, it's going to be very difficult. And their front line coming in does provide some danger. The Punisher is going to go over to Goodbye Forever as Sonya getting knocked back there, falling very low, but was able to help to secure the last few points that they needed. And as mentioned earlier here, this is a lot more dangerous in the hands of Goodbye Forever. They've got that Greymane and Li Ming to be able to throw additional damage out here and just siege up. Shutting the tower down, even more value. So ETC is going to power slide in. Gotta watch that living bomb as Uther getting away from the Greymane to make sure that that doesn't spread. And this Frozen Punisher is just about to go down, but not before the fort is secured. So one fort down in under 5 minutes so far here for the side of Goodbye Forever. Let's take a look at those talents. I haven't posted those in a while. Sorry about that. What else do we got? We got the Face Melt talents here for ETC, getting that extra knockback, as well as the Pinball Wizard for the additional damage. The full grenade build out of Ana, and it's going to be Calamity. Dominance and Calamity. So the OG Li Ming build here. But Uther, little far there, gets a couple of stuns. Send a little send-off package with the living bomb, but he's going to be okay. And Uther is going into the rest of those Q talents, so every time they stun him, he's going to have that cooldown popping up faster for that Flash of Light. It is Flash of Light, right? Holy Light, rather. Sorry, Flash of Light is, I think of it when he's dead. Greymane there, getting rooted, but not enough follow-up, really. ETC wasn't quite back yet, so he's gonna be able to make it out. Level 10's pretty close here as Sonya doing a cheeky shaman camp here. Is gonna get noticed, but only by Anduin, so there's very little that they can do about this. And wow, what an aggressive play there by this Sonya to just walk in, steal that camp, and nobody knows it. Good play by them. So it's going to be Ignite here coming out. Sun King's Fury, rather, for Kael'thas. Ignite is later. And level 10s are coming up, so this is a little aggressive on the side of ReGen Retro. They do have the man advantage, but rotating up are Li Ming and Ana. And let's just take a moment and watch as the hunter stalks their prey. Level 10's up for both sides now, so we do have the leap. We've got go for the throat. It is going to be the Divine Storm, Wave of Force, and Nano Boost. On the other side here for ReGen Retro, we've got the Mosh Pit, the Light Bomb, Crystal Aegis, and 2 giant question marks. But with Thrall in the bot and Sonya on the camp here, this is a 4v4. Spooky Ghost is getting very low, but looking hard on the Kael'thas. Uther, however, the first to fall. Light Bomb going out. Catches no heroes. But that is the only ultimate used on the side of ReGen Retro. Both Divine Storm and Nano Boost coming out on the side of Goodbye Forever. Hey, Ekeeb, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us tonight. Big stun collapse onto the Greymane this time. And Detainment Strike quest there going to be completed. Is that repeated offense, I think? It is. And you know, Ektar, I had that thought too. Like every time I see that name, I'm like, oh, is this Spooky Ghost? No, it's Goodbye Forever. That's happened like 3 or 4 times that I'm like, okay, I gotta look. Gotta double check. Zoning Light Bomb. Perfect, Mega Muffin. Exactly. So our solo laners down here, picking up siege camps, clearing lanes, getting that XP. Currently, a little bit over half for ReGen Retro here. Goodbye Forever, looking to get that pressure elsewhere. So you're probably going to head over to this camp now as well, keeping that pressure in the mid lane. And this is going to be an Arcane Punisher coming in, so certainly a very strong later game Punisher. But we're going to see the rotation down onto Thrall, it looks like. Oh, the stun misses, went out onto the minion. But it's not going to matter, I don't think. Yeah, okay. Divine Storm coming in and ultimately using that go for the throat. So a couple of ultimates used. 39 out of 40, the count for ReGen Retro here, as they're coming down now to defend. ETC getting the leap. Oh, the leap of faith coming in at the last second there. Helping to keep the cow's bacon alive. I don't know. But as I mentioned earlier, this team from Goodbye Forever, if they... Oh, and they get the kill onto the ETC, no less. If they simply get some team, like, a kill, they can siege up so much harder. And they don't even need the Punisher, which is exactly what they just did. They said, you know what? You guys have the Punisher. We have a double siege camp, and we killed your Thrall, and it's going to take you forever to get down here, so we'll just go ahead and take this forward. So still 39 on the counter for ReGen Retro. ETC is coming back in. Level 13's available. So just as we saw earlier from the other side, Goodbye Forever now has to be mindful of the positioning of these minions. One Flame Strike potentially finishes this Punisher. There's the Light Bomb going out onto the Uther alone. The knockback coming in as well here as Divine Storm coming out. Leap going onto the Kael'thas. But Crystal Aegis used to keep Zamibars alive here. Big 3-man mosh with no potential interrupts, but not a lot of follow-up either, as the team was so far back here. Greymane diving in after Kael'thas. The Spooky Ghost looks like they're going to fall, and Greymane falling as well, so a 2 for nothing. ReGen Retro going to pick up this Punisher and look to get some work done. Cow's bacon. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say bacon. There's the Punisher leaping in onto Sonya, the Detainment Strike, the Power Slide, all of the stuns, but Sonya not dying. Ana hitting that grenade, throwing out those healing darts, making sure that she gets out. Now, I assume that Ana takes the stun talent. Yeah, so cleansing those stuns, giving 50 armor is going to make it very difficult for ReGen Retros. That's a lot of their, in fact, that's all of their potential lockdown, with the exception of Anduin's Chastise. All right, so when last we met, Thrall was in the mid lane, Sonya was picking up the siege camps. This time Thrall's gonna be in the bot siege camp picking that up. And we see Goodbye Forever grabbing their Shaman camp, sending that out as they make their way on down to make sure that ReGen Retro is not, in fact, on their side of the map on this siege camp. But Retro currently clearing up the lanes here, and it looks like Zammy saying, you know, we haven't seen Sonya in a little while. Let's not give them the opportunity to steal that camp. Now, I am a little surprised that ReGen Retro did not get this camp on their way when they were getting that bottom camp with the Thrall. So right now they're kind of in maintenance mode, dealing with all of the camp pressure that Goodbye Forever has been putting onto this map. And because of that, it gives Goodbye Forever now the opportunity to play a little patient, stall things out a little, maybe look for a gank attempt. And right now it's looking like they want the Thrall. ETC is going to come in, knock him back to keep Thrall safe. Ultimate's available on both sides, is level 16 now available as well for ReGen Retro here. So looking to be aggressive and find a target. They do need to be a little bit careful because that siege camp is back there. And there's the stun onto Uther as he's returning the favor with his own Hammer of the Lightbringer there. Light Bomb brought out, not needed. Thrall finishing the job onto the Uther. And now they'll get back here and clear up this siege camp here. As with a talent advantage and a man advantage, want to see some value here. They got to make something happen. Their lanes are rather pushed up, but they're splitting up all over the place. And splitting is not something I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to see maybe them, you know, maybe even push in on this middle fort. You know, maybe send Thrall to deal with the lanes. Get the rest of the team here. You've got ETC. As long as the enemy team's not there, you could get some damage on it. Help to set up for the middle. But instead, they soak those lanes. They get the Shaman camp. And this should be a Mortar Punisher. Yeah, Mortar Punisher coming up. And a Light Bomb so far from the Murda. Throwing the shade. Gonna be the active reload here from Ana, giving her those triple darts. And a little bit of a high five as Uther and ETC pass each other in the bush here. Zoom out a little bit so we can check out all the action. Pinging that danger bush. Thrall says, yeah, you know what? I'm not that worried about it. But does walk right by the Sonya here, so a little bit of a split as ReGen Retro is zooming in, looking for the Sonya, but ETC all by himself going into 4. Falling a bit low here. Did get the light bomb that did land, but there wasn't, again, I mean, ETC was 100% by himself. Not a whole lot you can do when your team is chasing down a Sonya. So 2 ultimates used on the side of ReGen Retro. All of the ultimates still available for Goodbye Forever, so could be a little bit of a challenge here. A couple of big stuns coming out onto the Uther, but that's a massive Divine Storm and good Crystal Aegis, but it doesn't matter. Anduin and ETC both going to fall very quickly as Greymane on the hunt up in the top lane here, looking for the Ariel kill down below as Thrall is going to fall. Haven't ever noticed that. 2 quests being removed there, or reset rather, as Thrall missing out on that level 4 talent. And now that level, well, obviously the level 16 always resets, but didn't quite get that finish, the completion on his Feral Spirit at 4. Frostwolf pack. And that's going to give the clear right on over to Goodbye Forever. Not only that, but along with this Mortar Punisher, they're going to have a double Khazra camp. It's hard to imagine that this is anything less than a keep. They have so much pressure, but maybe not. I mean, Greymane and Sonya are down clearing up the lane down here, so maybe it doesn't get as much as I think it could have. The jump from the Punisher does manage to land onto 2, ETC and Kael'thas, both. It's going to get pulled off to the side there. Punisher sitting about 60%. And with that level 16 talent now, Kael'thas, with all of his flame strikes, is putting out the Living Bomb. Look at that, Zammibar's falling super low from the Sonya damage, pretty much by itself. And the fort is going to go down rather than keep. There's still a full Khazra, 2 Khazra camps, and a catapult, and a full wave. Again, the big stun from the Punisher here, needing to spread out so that doesn't doesn't provide so much value, but look at the core health just melt here. 40%. Sonya going to town along with the camps. ReGen Retro trying to get a defense. They do get the kill onto Ariel from Greymane there. And Sonya is going to fall. This camp needs to be knocked away so it doesn't just start shooting the core, which it is very close to doing. And it did get knocked away, the big mosh, but it doesn't matter. Greymane gonna help to finish off the core. GG. All right, so taking a look here, what was the result of our poll? Our poll said 100% voting for ReGen Retro. And I think, you know, in this game, in this match, specifically this map, we see the 8 kills to 8 kills. The overall stats pretty similar. Ana getting just about the same as Ariel, damage-wise, Li-Ming into the thrall. So, in all seriousness, I think that, you know, the team fights back and forth were very similar. It came down to what they did after those team fights. And Goodbye Forever made it very difficult for ReGen. Getting onto that fort early, getting the first fort of the game, getting the second fort, while ReGen Retro was working on getting the second Punisher. And that opened up the opportunity for them to win the game ultimately. So I think if ReGen Retro wants to come back and make this a 3-game series, they've got to make value happen when they win those fights. Because that's what we saw coming from Goodbye Forever. But what do you guys think? That's my analysis. Any other thoughts? What do you guys think between these two teams? More importantly, where do you think we go now? So ReGen Retro was the map pick last time. They have the option of where either map pick or first pick. Oh, wrong team. Pay no attention to the score on the side of your screen. That was a relatively quick game too. 3 Punishers. 1 of each. Gotta love it. R275 Delta. Welcome back. Thanks for the follow. I feel like I've seen you follow before. Maybe there are other R275s or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, again, I mean, Hector, I agree. It was a it felt competitive when they were together. Both teams kind of had those opportunities where they were able to get, you know, specific picks. I think there were some fights that did not go according to plan, like when ETC was up by himself against the other 4 versus the rest of ReGen Retro chasing down the Sonya. That was certainly not according to plan, I think. You know, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and you know what? Hector is calling for the maps, and I'm dropping my pen, so we're just going to get another pen because I don't think we want to deal with Alice getting all cranky about it. Looks like our next game is going to be Braxis Holdout, and it is going to be the pick of ReGen Retro. So let's go ahead and put that in, and then we'll take a look at what our maps are currently here. Maps. All right, so map bans from Goodbye Forever. We had the ban on Battlefield of Eternity and Sky Temple. ReGen Retro banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom. Game number 1 was not Battlefield of Eternity, it was Infernal Shrines. It was picked by ReGen Retro, won by Goodbye Forever. Here we are on Braxis Holdout, and it was selected by ReGen Retro. Alrighty, Lidrock with the 500 bits shouting out, let's bring it back and get that win, boys. Keep up the good work, Arrow. Thank you, Lid, I appreciate it. And Lidrock calling out for ReGen there. A member of ReGen Anomaly. Once again, let's take a look at these standings here before today. Where were these teams? Well, ReGen Retro currently sitting with 3 points. And they had a 2-0 victory over Terry's crew. We have Goodbye Forever, and they actually had a 2-1 victory over another team that I will tell you in a moment because I forgot. But let's see. So this was week 1. What did they have? Tickle Me Tassadar. How could I forget that? So there you go. That's where we are after week 1. But with that additional point now, Goodbye Forever has officially tied ReGen Retro. They're sitting at 3 points, along with a few other teams here with their domination victories. And it sounds like we are just about ready to go. As we get a countdown from 5, and then we have to wait for 5 seconds for the start button to work. Hey, there we go. Couldn't have been more wrong about ReGen wanting to play tower. You know what? Depends. You know what? It depends on the ReGen. Certainly some ReGen teams, I'm not going to say which ReGen teams, but some ReGen teams enjoy the Towers of Doom. Thanks again there, Lidrock, for the 500 bits. Much appreciated. And we're going to stick with the Alarak ban here coming out of the gate. And it would not surprise me to see that Samuro ban once again. But we had Johanna Mal'Ganis last round. And both of those can work really well here. With good CC, with good survivability. Interrupts for the point. It's going to be the Uther ban, though. Uther, a strong, kind of strange tank. In some ways, acting like ETC with his on-use armor. A lot of stun potential. It also has the ability to heal his team. Genji going to be the second ban here, so... kind of surprising that the Samuro's not banned out, so I wonder if it's something that they want to take, or if they're just not concerned about it. I don't know. I know, Lid, I gotta say, that's one of my favorites. Maybe not the name, I don't think is anything special. It's a good name. I just don't think that it's a, you know, like, super crazy. But the logo is awesome. Gonna be the first pick coming up for Greymane here, so sticking Mustache Mill right back on that Greymane. Had some pretty solid value out of that. And going right back into the ETC. So this time, Deltron, instead of the Anduin, is going to be on the Malfurion. ETC Malfurion has been a long-standing combination. Being able to do that power slide along with the entangling roots. So no big deal. No big surprise there. Although Malfurion himself fallen a little bit out of the standard picks here. Speaking of falling out, a Spooky Ghost going to be picking up the Anubarak. That's another hero that has kind of fallen out a little bit since they made their their adjustments to him. So we're going to see some interesting changes here to this team. Stukov as well, and Stukov is a well-played Stukov is quite the menace. Gonna see the Jaina ban. So no Jaina Greymane. And what do they want to get rid of with the final ban here from Goodbye Forever? Was there anything on the team that they didn't like? Did I have Soundpound showing as Garrosh last game? Apparently I did. It's gonna be Kel'Thuzad. You know what? I like that ban. I like it a lot. Huh, okay. I don't know why. So Kel'Thuzad gonna be the man. It's gonna be Hanzo and Li Ming coming in. So no easy mosh interrupts this time. And Hanzo, another potential mosh interrupt, but also helps to set up those moshes. So also happens to have some really good long-range poke to interrupt. Did I just channel my inner rec? Which part, Shui? It's entirely possible. The Thrall and Garrosh thing? I don't know, maybe. Newbie gonna come in with the Dahaka. Dahaka has not been seen a whole lot, at least on this channel this season, so I'm looking forward to seeing how Dahaka turns out. And it's gonna be Chromie coming out, the mage for non-champion here. And Chromie does some work here. Last pick. Where do you go? It's going to be a solo laner against the Dahaka, presumably. It's going to be Sonya. Okay. All right. So a little bit of a role change there. A sound pound going from the offlaner to the Li Ming. Shatter going into that Sonya from the Kael'thas. But you know what? The other thing we have is a third ban here from ReGen Retro, so clearly they've rethought their strategy. Oh, the Stukov talent. Gotcha. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get this poll up. So who do you think's going to win game number 2? Who wins game number 2? Is it going to be Goodbye Forever with the combination of that Stukov and a Nubrak? Or is it going to be ReGen Retro looking to land those moshes, get those setup arrows coming out from Hanzo? Maybe could we see something like an Ariat Crater? I don't know. I mean, probably not, right? But it could be fun. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I was... Oh my god, this whole time we've been doing this draft, I'm like, oh, then we're playing on Towers of Doom. Silly me. Brax's Holdout, everybody. Welcome. Let's go ahead and get our teams introduced. On the right, we have ReGen Retro. Deltron going to be playing the Malfurion. Sound Pound on the Li Ming. Zammy Bars on the ETC. It's going to be Shatter on the Sonya. And Hanzo going to be played by Splash. Over here on the left, we've got Goodbye Forever. Non-champion going to be playing the Chromie, a Spooky Ghost, on the Anubarak. Thundercats on the Stukov. Mustache Mill going to be playing Greymane, and up in the top lane, Newbie on Dahaka. Check out these talents here. So it is going to be Force Armor, and you know what? Force Armor is a difficult talent to balance when you want to take it, when you don't. I don't like taking it against Kael'thas, but a hero like Chromie, sure. The only challenge is, of course, you've got the Stukov, so you just got to be careful of that. And a Spooky Ghost could probably eat up some of the charges there with his Impale. So, gonna get a little bit of a fight over this first globe, as Sonya taking it to the Dahaka. Now, keep in mind, ReGen Retro got first blood last game as well. But it's a good way for them to start. Coming after a loss there. Want to see if they can, you know, get some kills in this, and that is how you start that process. Goodbye Forever getting the win vote here. So there you go. Let's check in on top here. Dahaka trying to get some revenge onto the Sonya. And so far, doing a pretty solid job of it. Oh, checking in here down at the bottom is Anubarak getting just demolished there. We do have target practice coming out from the Hanzo as well. And Anubarak getting that spell armor up to 60 thanks to his level 1 talent. What is that called? Nerubian Armor. Makes sense. Chromie looking to get those stacks up. Sitting at 8 currently, so that she can get an extra copy of herself that does an additional 40% there. Anubarak is going to get the power slide and the root. That's going to be another kill, but they're going in after the Li Ming. Not able to get there, though. And channel is going here for ReGen Retro, sitting at 60%, level 4s as well. Looking good for the red team on this channel as Sonya versus Dahaka. Dahaka's having to pull back there, and it is going to be a full channel here for ReGen Retro. So a little bit of a Zerg, 20%. That changed to 18% immediately. I don't know how that works, their game. Picking your math, just making it up as you go along. ETC going to get the power slide onto the Anub. Can he make it out? He does, just barely. And that drop from the Zerg wave nearly landing on the Anubrak. I don't know if it does any damage other than just summoning new minions, but even with 250 health, you probably don't want to be right next to the 4 or so minions that get summoned. Dahaka having to pop his essence up top. We'll come back to the action in the bottom here as Dahaka chasing down the Sonya, who's having to whirlwind in the lane there with the Zerg to try to stay alive as the Zerg was chasing her down. Heading back down here into the bottom, so the well did get cleared up. And looking to get damage onto this fort. There's two minions here in the way of this Zerg wave, keeping them back and keeping the damage from making it there. The Impale interrupting the power slide, putting ETC in a bit of a tight spot. And up in the top lane here, Sonya and Dahaka going their separate ways, agreeing that maybe we can just have a little bit of a breather after this Zerg wave. But just a little bit. Dahaka sitting there out of mana. Sonya, 2/3 health, has some rage, ready to go. Fury? Forgot, she's not a warrior, she's a barbarian. And here comes Retro coming in with the aggressive invade here. And it's just Stukov and... Stukov and Greymane. So that's going to be a quick kill on the Stukov. Getting the rotation up from Anubrak and Chromie. As well as Dahaka and Greymane here now as well. So there's a power slide. Can they get the Dahaka? He's so very low. They do. Hanzo getting the kill there. 4 kills to none. So far, the score in this game for ReGen Retro looking like a very... I don't want to say a very different team. They started off really well in the last game. They just had difficulty with the siege. Well, now they've got Zerg waves to help them with siege. Still not the greatest siege, although they do have the Sonya here, so that does provide a little bit more value. And Goodbye Forever here is looking. They gotta kind of clean up their act like they did in game number 1. Find some kills, get some pressure out there. Level 8 coming soon for Chromie is going to help to provide a bit of a power spike before the enemy team gets to level 10, as ReGen Retro is sitting 1 full level up. And here comes the next Zerg wave. Sorry, just needed a quick sip. ETC gonna come up here. Interesting switch, sending the Sonya down to the bottom. I think this is kind of some mind games, maybe to push the... Never mind. I think I just barely caught that on screen. But if you don't know it's coming, you probably won't even see it there, as Li-Ming able to get that kill onto the Greymane. And ETC is standing on this point, is going to get the full time on the channel, and the rotation's coming up here. We don't have level 8 for Chromie yet. Power slide going out onto the Anubrak. No real follow-up yet, though. So just continuing the channel. But I don't think Li-Ming can really hold it against Dahaka, and that's why Sonya's coming back down, because she certainly can. Missing with the spear there. Dahaka getting that burrow just in time. Well played by Dahaka there. Newbie doing a great job of gathering that point for just long enough to stall this out. ReGen Retro at 48% currently. No charge yet for Goodbye Forever. But here comes the power slide again onto that Anubrak. The root coming out. The burrow charge away, and it looks like ETC's not quite going to be able to get there to finish that job. The bug going to make it, as Sonya, having to dodge between Greymane and Dahaka, manages to avoid that tongue, which is A+, because if that tongue lands, Sonya dies. And that gives then Goodbye Forever the opportunity to really push back in. But level 10's now available. for ReGen Retro. But again, it's just ETC up here in the top lane. He doesn't have stage dive to zoom around the map as he went into the mosh pit. We do have the Twilight Dream Disintegrate, of course, for that cocoon, and Dragon's Arrow. And the Dragon Arrow going out on the Chromie with the Disintegrate, gonna just take her off the map. She is not available to play anymore. ETC probably looking for a power slide. There it is, but gets impaled. Hanzo getting the kill onto the Greymane. Sorry, I was following the wrong target, guys. And it looks like Sonya heading down here to get the bottom control point. And with 10s, yeah, these death timers are pretty low. I don't think they can go for boss, but they can certainly get one of these camps. Probably not the second one off to the right here. And so this will be going in the lane opposite the Zerg wave for ReGen Retro. Small Zerg wave here coming up for Goodbye Forever. Every time I'm thinking Spooky Ghost. Oh my goodness. I'm so bad. NA caster. Anyways, guys, they zoomed in. They found the Anubrak. Did the same thing that they've done, I think, 3 times. And squished the bug. First fort going out. This time in favor of ReGen Retro. 8.5 minutes, 8 3/4 minutes into the game. But with that kill onto a Nubrak here, they're going to get a lot of pressure. Dahaka doing what he can in the bot lane. What do we got for ultimate? So we saw the slowing sands there. We do have the cocoon. ETC is power sliding onto the Greymane, but there's that cocoon. It's going to get disintegrated. And the silence coming out from Stukov going to slow things down. We do have Go for the Throat and Isolation, but Dahaka's nowhere nearby. The massive shove going to throw ETC out, so no opportunity for a mosh pit there, as they do get not only the fort, but also the keep. And it looks like they're making their way here. They're going to try to maybe get this. Okay, yeah, they're going to this camp probably. Bruiser camp. Yep. Okay. Yeah, called it. They were right here by the time I called it, but I called it. It was there. And it looks like here, Goodbye Forever wanting to check to make sure that they're not on this boss. And maybe looking to try to find an aggressive attack here. There's no cocoon yet. And 100% of the ultimates are available for ReGen Retro. So this is a really scary proposition on the side of Goodbye Forever. They don't have a talent tier advantage. In fact, they're behind in levels. And we are going to see the camp being picked up in the top there as well by ReGen Retro. And the rotation down to clear the camp in the bot lane from Goodbye Forever. But with that, with the 2 heroes showing in the bot lane, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't just get started on this, but they do find the Chromie timeout being used. The root does go out, but it's not going to get her. The silence going to come out, and good night, Chromie. Tongue landing onto Zamibar's there, but a Nubrak going to fall as Malfurion in the cocoon, and we're going to see a boss call right now as 14 seconds for Chromie, almost 20 seconds for the Anubrak here, and Broccoli being picked up to get that damage from the boss. And it looks like this boss is going to go in the bottom lane, where they already have a camp providing pressure, and getting to work here on this top camp. This bruiser camp in the top lane now is going to give them pressure in the top lane, where they already have catapults spawning. Now ETC pretty far forward here. Recognize that fact. Comes back down here with the camp and the waves. So they're going to get this fort. And this boss is going to be healthy. I don't know that they get the full keep out of it, but they're definitely going to get the wall. And ETC is going to come up here, hold the bush, make sure that nobody comes in from the side. Let's put these talents away for a moment here. And now that they can see those heroes, ETC coming down. Was looking for that Anubrak, but a little bit delayed there, as the tongue going out after the impale. So ETC is going to pull back. And this boss sitting about half health. Never mind, ETC is out of the fight, pushed away by the massive shove. We see the Wrath of the Berserker coming out from Sonya here, the tongue missing. And even with the Wrath of the Berserker pull, they're going to go ahead and pull on back here. ReGen Retro still has a talent advantage, so they may actually look for this as the cocoon going out onto the Li Ming this time. And that's going to give the opportunity now to get that first kill of the game for Goodbye Forever onto the ETC. And Dahaka having that extra range on that tongue. Big Hanzo arrow looking for a kill onto the Greymane. They get it, and the reset's coming in. But Stukov says, no, not today. Sonya, however, is all about it. She is up in their face, wants this Dahaka. They get the kill onto the Anubrak. In the meantime, they get the kill onto Dahaka. Now going for the Stukov. And a 4-for-1 trade in favor of ReGen Retro. But Chromie's not done. Chromie can do some work, so got to be careful. Mind those sand blasts coming in, especially there for Sonya. She's taken several to the face. And ETC heading up, getting the channel started already. However, we've got catapult pressure coming in the top lane. ReGen Retro putting on a commanding performance in this Raxus holdout game. And they've already got the channel started 26%. Boss in a minute and a half. There's one siege camp left on the map here. ETC, again, all by himself. A little bit far forward, I think. Like, he's not a Johanna. He doesn't have the ability to just walk away from anything that he wants. But recognizing that fact, he pulls away from the Anubrak, and the team is a little far away here. So the tongue going out onto the Malfurion does get the stun, the power slide, to stop Malfurion from getting out. The cocoon going onto the Sonya, but it's instantly removed by the disintegrate. And there's the Hanzo arrow connecting onto 4 heroes. And they're all dead. Go win the game. Why are you chasing the Chromie? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a game 3 as ReGen Retro coming in 18 kills to 1 on Braxis holdout, saying, hey, that last game was just a fluke. We know how to win here. And the Zerg wave's not even going to make it. GG being called as ReGen Retro successful on Braxis holdout. Game 1 was very balanced between these two teams. We saw 8 kills to 8 kills. The damage numbers lined up. The healing numbers lined up. Everything was balanced, but one team had to win. Game 2, very different game. Very different game. Goodbye Forever did their absolute best trying to find ways with the Cocoon as an engage, with the Chromie damage, with the Greymane, Dahaka landing those tongues. Ultimately, could not get those kills. The healing coming out from Malfurion, the CC chains coming out with the ETC slides, with the roots from Malfurion, with the Hanzo arrows, were just absolutely on point. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 coming up soon. In the meantime, let's take just a quick break, and we'll be right back.
When I was young, I lived a life of recklessness. In my selfishness, I inflicted pain and hurt those I cared for. I have learned many lessons in my struggles with doubt and fear. Balance and harmony are not easily attained. They must be fought for! all my journey, I have learned another lesson. You do not have to fight alone.
Let's do this! Woohoo!
All right, everybody, welcome back here. Teams are getting set up. It looks like they're just about ready for game number 3. In fact, they are ready for game number 3. So let's go ahead and show you what we're doing, where we're going, and how we got here. ReGen Retro picking the map for the 3rd game in a row here. We went first to Infernal Shrines, which was won by Goodbye Forever. Then we went to Brax's Holdout. That one was won by ReGen Retro. 3rd game of the night going to be Cursed Hollow. Original map bans from Goodbye Forever there were Battlefield of Eternity and Sky Temple. ReGen Retro banning out the Towers of Doom and Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, you know, overall, I feel like we have a little bit of a theme here. ReGen Retro looking for these maps where maybe they can have what I feel are more team fight focused comps and allow for the map to provide the siege value. We'll see if that's how they stick this 3rd game. Whereas Goodbye Forever has really been playing these comps that have the additional siege with the Greymanes, you know, especially. And you know that the last game it kind of turned around on them. They got a lot of CC in their face, whereas game number 1 they had a lot of CC, chain CC with that Uther, and as soon as they got rid of the Uther, it made it a little bit harder here for Goodbye Forever. So we are going to see Alarak and Samuro sticking back to the game number 1 bans. Uther maintaining as his first ban pick here, or first ban rather. You know what I mean, guys. And Greymane going to be the ban here. ReGen Retro tired of seeing it, and Spooky Boast saying, you know what? ETC's mine now. Who am I casting? Wood League. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to let our next round teams know what's going on here. Unfortunately, unless this game is over in like 10 minutes, I don't think we're going to have time for an interview. We're going to see Johanna Falstad picked up here for ReGen Retro. Okay, teams are all aware. We're going back into the Dahaka, and this time we're going to have Sylvanas as well. So going to have the battle of the globals here between the Falstad and Dahaka. Now, my opinion, we all know how much opinions are worth, is that Falstad works better now, not necessarily as a solo laner, but much better as a 4-man. We're going to see the Malfurion band coming out, so they don't want to deal with their own medicine. They said, you know what, we know how that works out, we don't want that. Falstad good with the Gust to have some boss control though, and can certainly still, you know, still be a solo laner, just has to be a little bit more careful about it. And it's gonna be Hanzo, the final ban for this series. Coming out from the side of Goodbye Forever. Teach me to Sonya like that, says Darth Cherrywood. Well, you know what? Here comes the clinic because Shatter going right back into that Sonya. And ETC Johanna are... I don't know why my nose is so itchy. I'm sorry, guys. ETC Johanna, pretty much like the top 2 tanks, I think, in NGS. The most played and or banned. You know, I think Johanna had 70-something%. All right. 70-something% on her participation rate in Season 7 between picks and bans. Wouldn't surprise me to see something very similar to that. She's banned a lot. She's picked a lot. Very strong tank. But ETC as well being picked a lot. Has provides a lot with the power slide as well as the face melt for zoning and peel potential. Also has the potential to have just a monster ultimate in the mosh pit, but also can turn into a global. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think we see stage dive out of this. Could this be a triple global? This is a lot of global pressure. All right, game number 3. Who do you think's going to win? Is it going to be Goodbye Forever, or is it going to be ReGen Retro? The battle of the globals commences. 2 to 3 globals on the side of Goodbye Forever. 1 global on the side of ReGen Retro here.
Prepare yourself for battle, heroes.
All right, getting set up for the game here. On the right, we've got ReGen Retro coming off of their equalizing of the score at 1-1 in this best of 3. We've got Deltron on the Anduin, Zammy Bars on the Johanna. Shatter going to be playing that Sonya once again. Sound Pound on the Falstad, and that leaves Splash there on the Li Ming. And looking to close out and turn off the pressure from ReGen Retro, earning themselves another 2-1 match victory in this season. We've got Goodbye Forever. A Spooky Ghost playing the ETC newbie back onto that Dahaka. Mustache Mill gonna be playing Sylvanas this round. Non-champion on the Rainer. And up here in the top we got Thundercats. Ho! Playing the Brightwing. But you know, let's take a look at what we've got for the talents. Ace in the Hole coming out from Rainer. We got the Power Hungry coming in from Li Ming. Hyper Shift for the Brightwing. Additional globals. They want all globals all the time. The Dark Swarm talent here giving the additional duration, but also the spell armor for the Dahaka. Prog Rock and Wingman here going to be the pick for Falstad. So looking for those bribes and also to pick up some camps. So this is going to be Falstad versus Dahaka in the bot lane here with the Tribute up in the top half of the map here. Makes sense. You want your globals in the far lane so that they can soak as long as possible. That still slightly favors the Dahaka because he can go anywhere there's a bush, and there are a lot of bushes on this map. Whereas Falstad can only really go about halfway vertically on this map. Oh, son of a gun. Just left there, guys. First blood going over to the side of Goodbye Forever in this round. And ETC kind of keeping an eye on what's going on over here. Knows that they're here. Probably not coming in, but does pull back the Johanna out of lane. And the vote's coming in favor of ReGen Retro here. So there you go. 75% of voters polled believe that ReGen Retro is going to win this game. Level 4's just slightly ahead here on the side of Goodbye Forever. Up in the top lane, it's a battle of the Li Ming versus Brightwing. And you know what? Brightwing already loses because she's not playing the Deathwing skin. I'm sorry. Sorry, Goodbye Forever, but this game's over. This is one of those Hogwarts things where you get to the end and you think you win, but actually all of your points get deducted and some snot-nosed kid wins. That's how this works.
Gather tribute and earn my favor.
Tribute now spawning as we pass the 2.5 minute mark. But that's okay, because these teams say, you know what, we got a bruiser camp in the mid lane, let's deal with this. Both ETC and Raynor coming in from Goodbye Forever, wanting to push this bruiser camp up a little bit. And Retro saying, you know what, we don't want you to do that. They got to rotate through here. I expect Johanna to throw a flash of light, maybe? No, she's just going to walk right into that face check in that bush, using the Iron Skin instead of the flash of light. We do have Li Ming up here in the top looking to poke, but Brightwing already started on the channel. Might be able to get it, especially if ETC gets that stun. Just a little bit late on that flash, preventing Johanna from getting that stall out. So the first tribute gonna go over to Goodbye Forever. Now that being said, Falstad never came up, so he can continue to soak, catch ReGen Retro up a little bit in that XP. Although it looks like maybe, yeah, Dahaka should be able to get here for all of this XP.
I'm tired of your petty squabbling.
But already we have the next tribute coming up here. And again, thanks to that Dark Swarm, you know, that's an on-call 50 spell armor for newbies. So really helpful for him to fight into that Falstad, as he's not going to be able to do as much damage with the Hammerang or the Lightning Rod. Now Brightwing remaining up top here, just like Dahaka, can get anywhere on the map at any time. So she's got time to wait here as the team's coming in. Currently 4v2, Falstad's not here, and Sylvanas is split off, although now Dahaka coming in, and once again Brightwing can come in just about any time here, so doesn't need to commit too early, but maybe coming in a little late, as ETC is going to fall. And now being zoned out here, ReGen Retro will pick this up. Now I don't know, let's see if we can actually, it might be too late. Yeah, I don't think Brightwing ever actually tried to get the phase shift here. Here comes Dahaka though, getting very low with the rotation, and that's going to be another kill now. 2 kills to 1 so far in this game, as Brightwing being bullied by the Sonya. And it takes Brightwing a fair bit of time before she can clear a lane. But ultimately she just has to gather that XP as it drops. Coming up here, number 3 tribute would be the second tribute for either team, so it's not critical for either team. Both teams are getting very close here to level 10. So we'll see Dahaka and Brightwing up in the top here. Raynor though is gonna get just demolished. That's gonna give level 10s and the tribute over to ReGen Retro. Level 10 is now available as well for Goodbye Forever. So let's take a look at it. What do we got? We got the Wrath of the Berserker coming from Sonya, which she just pops onto this Dahaka, who burrows to avoid some of that damage here. We also have the Mighty Gust from Falstad, of course, but it's going to be the Light Bomb Falling Sword combo here from Johanna and Anduin, and Wave of Force for the Li Ming. It is going to be Stage Dive. Ah, son of a gun, guys. You keep doing that to me. I leave for 2 seconds, and somebody dies. But anyways, it is going to be Stage Dive, giving the triple global threat over to Goodbye Forever. It's going to be Blink Heal. I mentioned the isolation there. I think that was a Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas. Pull that up and take a look here. Yep, sure was. And then Raynor's Raider here from Raynor. Damage coming in as the Goodbye Forever team is split here. ETC power sliding in. The Light Bomb going out, I think, onto the wrong target, probably. Leap of Faith is going to save Zammy there, pulling Johanna out from what likely was certain death. And the rest of the team able to pull back, so that was a fantastic Leap of Faith. Anduin, one of those heroes that can really change the makeup of how you play a game and how you're forced to play the game. Similar to Medivh in that, or even like a Zool in certain maps. But that's going to give ReGen Retro the curse with that third tribute. Li Ming's coming down to gather all this oak, just barely dodges that power slide. But keep in mind, these towers are shut down, so there's no reason not to come in on this. 45 seconds left of the curse, and ETZ now has Raynor down here as well. All right, I'm just gonna have to start following Sonya because she's putting on a clinic up here against this Dahaka, and I'm missing all of it. But ETC gets the power slide in, and the Wailing Arrow coming out to help secure the kill onto the Li Ming. Big light bomb hits 3, but ultimately used for the shield and the defensive purposes to be able to get Anduin out of that danger zone. This is a 4v2 in the bot lane, so... Oh, and ETC coming in saying, hey, Sonya, I'm not going to let you just get this for free.
And so the curse ends.
It looks like we're going to get the mid fort falling as well. So 2 forts, plus a little bit of keep wall damage here in the mid. The fort wall down in the bottom as well. So both teams gathering their forces. ReGen Retro heading to the middle. Looks like Goodbye Forever heading to get their siege camp. Maybe even to check this boss down here, it looks like. Dahaka looks like they're coming down. ETC's already down here. ETC gets the power slide. This is a danger space for the Johanna. She does get that condemn. But again, there's no global way out of this for Johanna, and that Rainer's Raider there can still come across the wall. Might actually fall here to the towers. Not quite. Very close, though. Sonya holding this bush. It looks like they're aware that this boss is wanting to be taken. There's no Falstad in this fight. There's no Li Ming, so... Goodbye Forever pulling off the boss, resetting it here. Sonya going in onto the Raynor. Big stun here. It's going to be Raynor falling first. And a double kill with the massive orb and missiles coming out from Li Ming. Falstad sending Dahaka back into the team. Dahaka gets the tongue, but it doesn't matter. 4 for nothing as ReGen Retro making their way onto this boss. This ultimately will be the bottom fort at the very least, and Falstad heading up there to the top to clean up that lane and keep their fort safe. And I was going to say, it wouldn't surprise me if they just head on up, get their own boss now so that they can pressure into that keep lane. We'll have to see how much this boss gets by itself. It does have a minion wave coming in behind it, and a lot of damage was put out onto those minions from the root. But it's looking like this probably gets this fort. Maybe? I don't know. Raynor took ace in the hole, right? Yeah, he did. So it's going to be close, I think. They have a lot of damage on this. Maybe with the minion wave. Just barely in time. But there goes the top boss. And if you're ReGen Retro at this point, you don't have to go get that tribute. To be fair, neither do most of Goodbye Forever. Most of Goodbye Forever can go defend this and then come in instantly, basically. But here we go. ReGen Retro pushing Goodbye Forever back, recognizing that Dahaka's up there in the top. There's the light bomb and the falling sword. Not quite able to get the light bomb on, and the Mighty Gust is going to separate the team here. It's going to be Sonya helping to kill the Sylvanas. Those S names, you know. And it looks like ETC going to stage dive on up to help clear this top boss. That's going to leave Anduin and Li Ming to pick up the tribute. I was going to say the turret. It's not a turret. And Retro going to start clearing up these lanes. They pick up this Bruiser Camp, so that's going to give them the 20 spell armor to get things started in the mid lane. And Goodbye Forever still has no Sylvanas. So this is a 4v5 plus level 16 talents for ReGen Retro under their spell armor. So Dahaka taking a ton of damage, nearly getting taken out there by the Li Ming, but does have a full essence bar and makes use of it. And the root going out onto ETC, so some pretty significant damage onto the keep there. Not enough to get it down, but they also have this siege camp going in the bot lane. So ReGen Retro putting a lot of space on the map here for them. all the way up to 18 now, and level 16 coming up soon for Goodbye Forever. That's ultimately that's going to be probably their last opportunity before level 20 to take an even fight over one of these tributes. But it's not going to be over a tribute. It's going to be over the siege camp. There's the gust. Never mind. It's not going to be anything. It's just going to be a quick gust, push them back, take the siege camp, move on. And this is, if ReGen Retro can stall this out, that's great. But then they don't need to die for it. So they just barely don't get it. ETC able to sneak in and get that power slide. Dahaka all by himself, putting the pressure onto the Anduin. And I think, yeah, this was my point. You know, you're 16 to 18 right now. You can poke it out a little bit, but ReGen Retro's got all the advantage right now. They don't have to play this. They can play patient. Wait for those couple of ultimates to come back. But Goodbye Forever needs to find something, whether it's, you know, a Dahaka Burrow getting somebody in the back line, you know, make use of those globals. You know, they've got the Brightwing. They certainly could, you know, make use of a phase shift as well. Take a look at some of these talents. ReGen Retro's coming down into the bot lane. Maybe they were thinking that the Goodbye Forever was going to try to rotate it on the Falstead. ETC's by himself here, mostly. And that's all the Li Ming damage missing there. Good gust into the alcove, and the light bomb's going to come back. ETC's going to be taken out, but Johanna has the isolation, so she's silenced. Dahaka going to be the next to fall. And Johanna's now looking for the... I think she was looking for Brightwing, didn't quite get it. Sylvanas making use of that Will of the Forsaken to get out, making her move more quickly. And ReGen Retro now making their way to this mid keep. And I think with 20 seconds on this, they may look for the game. Especially with a Bruiser camp coming in behind it. And they're going for it. With just Sylvanas and Raynor to push back. So much damage. This core is dropping rapidly. The silence not enough as ReGen Retro will close it out with the reverse sweep over Goodbye Forever. Fantastic play from these two teams tonight. All right, so 2 kills to 13. I'm going to showcase this just a short bit here. But ultimately, I got to get set up for our next game, which is technically supposed to start right now. So I'm just going to show these for a brief moment. Good game going out to ReGen Retro. Congratulations on your win. Goodbye Forever. You guys had a great match. Played, got that win in game number 1 there, and played a solid game number 3. Thank you very much for participating. Later Rock, I want to shout you out for those 1,000 bits in support of ReGen Retro. Much appreciated, friend. All right, and we're getting the invite to our game, so I'm going to go ahead and put us on a quick break here as we get everything set up for this next game. So we'll be back. Give us in about 5 minutes, and we'll be right back. Oh, with our special guest.